Hello, 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 hello. So this recording will be posted for people to view after the live. So if you're joining me live, hello. If you're watching this after the live, hello. So I'm going to give this a couple of minutes for people to show up because that's the polite thing to do. Hi, Linda. Hey, Noel. So, idle chit chat while we're waiting. This is the first time that I've streamed this to multiple locations at the same time. So, if everyone can hear me, let me know. And if you're watching this, hey, little, um, it's going to my Facebook page, my Facebook author page, which is my like professional page, and then it's also going to my YouTube channel. So, if you're tuning in and you want to let me know where you're watching this, that'd be great. I'm curious to see how many people actually watch on my YouTube channel because I only have like 200 followers over there, and I don't post a ton of content. So if people are digging YouTube stuff, I can definitely post more stuff over there. So sound is 5 out of 5 on YouTube. Thanks, Noel. Camera lens looks foggy though. It's my shout out to Mark. Hello. Cover villains in the house. Remy. Jeremy. Artist extraordinaire. You can see the little wires up there. So I'm here in the dungeon in the basement here at the new place in Hollis, which is where all of the writing magic, well, not all, but a good portion of the writing magic happens now. It's also where my wife does a lot of her online therapy stuff. Hey, Tracy, I was wondering how you were doing. I saw that you marked yourself safe. I'm glad. Arkansas, Tornado Alley right there. What is it, Jonesboro or Jacksonville? Up the highway towards where Walmart's center is. That place gets a ton of tornadoes. When I was down in Arkansas back in like 90, 97, 98, my girlfriend and I were Jacksonville. Yeah, my girlfriend and I were trying to get to her parents' house because they have a storm shelter there, and we're like, run! We're trying to get away, and then we pulled in, and her mom was like, "What the hell are you doing? You're following the storm, idiots!" So, whoops. But wasn't even that bad a tornado, but it was my first one, and I was terrified. So, 2 more minutes, and I'll start talking. About relevant things. Earlier today, Lyndall, tornadoes earlier today in Illinois. Illinois gets a shocking amount of tornadoes. I was shocked when I found that out. Yeah, it can be scary. The sky, man. Hey, Cliff. Memphis is a nice area. Really good barbecue. Got my on-brand iced coffee here to keep me awake. I'm super tired. Yeah, Texas too. Up here in New England, we basically get snow. That's like the bad thing that happens. Now, granted, we can get a lot of snow, but it's nothing like tornadoes. Blizzards don't scare me. Like, we lose power, we're ready for it. Like, we have the candles, we have the heaters, we have the batteries, we have the water. Like, we're ready. We can go weeks without power, even in the cold. Like, we're ready for it. We're prepared. But tornadoes, man, like when God decides to roll through and just like smash your shit, there's like really nothing you can do about that other than like grab your ankles and hope for rain for lubricant. But hey, on that note, where I live is the corridor where most travel. Yeah, it's not good. All right, so we have 15 people in here. Thanks for coming, everybody. And I just want to say thanks. A, for showing up, and B, for taking the time out of your Friday night to spend a little bit of time with me so I can chit chat about this huge project that's been going on in the background for months now. Hi, Tiffany. Yeah, Laura. It's our weather's. We had a weird winter this year, but thank you. I appreciate it. So, Adrian's Undead Diary, first and foremost, the 14th book, The Lost and the Found, is up now for pre-order on the Kindle. I got it done pretty quickly, and I knew after the way 13 ended, you people were gonna really want some closure on how book 13 ended. So when I finished it, I literally like finished editing it, finished getting everything tidied up, and then literally just sent it off for formatting and cover immediately, and then started working on book 14, like zero lag, and I got it done. And there's two reasons why it got done so quickly. Um, this may seem unrelated, but I'll get there. Hey, Anthony, Diggory Finch's book 2 Kickstarter for the 12. One of the backer level rewards that you could get, and it was the highest one, the most expensive one, for $1,000. You could buy a story written by me. And what that basically meant was I would sit down with you, we would come up with a plot, we would come up with a storyline, we would agree on the characters, and you would basically like guide me, give me, a basic outline of what you wanted, and then I would write the story, and then it would be yours, your story. No one else would see it. And the guy who won it was my friend Chris Fagan, who there he is, Chris Fagan. He just jumped in the chat, and Chris had this fantastic idea for a story, which I immediately loved, and he and I went back and forth for a couple weeks, and I asked him some questions, and I clarified some stuff just to make sure I was going to get things right, and then hey Raz. I busted it out, and at first I thought it was only going to be about 6,000 words, and then it was like 10, and I think the final count on it was like 15,000 words, something like that, right around there. I can actually look, and it's just really, really fun. And if you looked at the synopsis on the Lost and the Found, 13,000 words. If you looked at the synopsis for it, the names of all the side fictions that appear in book 14 are there, like in every book. And the first one is Meow Bitch, which you can imagine what that's about. And then Chris's story is the one that's called Tactical Septic Tank. So, hey, Josh. Tactical Septic Tank was written for Chris's eyes only. And I sent it off to him, and he read it, and I was like, so it's yours, whatever. And I forget how we wound up getting onto the subject, but he's like, dude, you can use it. Like, I want you to, like, if you want to put this in something, you should totally do it and release it. So with his blessing, I wound up putting it kind of in the middle of book 14, because it was perfect for the novel, which wasn't by design, but I also kind of wrote the novel to fit it in. So everyone can thank Chris, for inspiring the character of Chris Fagan, Mr. Monster Dildo himself, and also thank Chris because he elected to share the story that I wrote for him. So when you're reading Tactical Septic Tank, just know that came from his mind, which tells you a lot about him and a lot about he and I's friendship. So, Chris, big shout out to you, brother. Appreciate that. Book 14, I think, is really good. Ghosts, book 13, was also really good, and I knew it when I wrote it. And this one is just as good, if not better. If you're keeping up on Patreon, I've been posting it as I go, and almost the entire novel is out. I think the rest of it wraps up in a week, maybe 2. The second to last side fiction just posted today, so there's probably like maybe 10 more days or so. If you're keeping up with it, people have been really enjoying it there. And the version that Patreon gets is like the first draft, and then after it all gets posted there, I collate it and edit it and get it all cohesive and go back and fix things and smack the plot bunnies in the head until they're gone. And then the released version gets put out, and people are digging it there. So I'm super happy. I'm super excited. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. I've done a few things in it that people have been asking for a very long time. So if you've been a part of the AUD universe fandom, I think you're going to be really excited. And some stuff happens that hasn't happened in a really long time in the story. Some characters kind of show up, and can't convince your wife to mount the 3-foot skull crusher on the wall. You don't need her permission. All you got to do is wave it at her, Chris. It's so big, and when she walks by, you just got to pull it, and it'll smack her down. Anyway, book 14 is going to be really cool, and that's the good news about that. The bad news is I'm not sure how many books are going to be after this. At least one, for sure. Possibly two. I can't see there being 3 more to finish up the arc of the story as I have planned for it. So that's kind of bad news, because that means 1, maybe 2 more novels in that universe. The other thing is book 15 is going to have to wait a little bit. Because after I kind of get this Kickstarter project going and wrapped up, the next thing that I'm going to finish will be Diggory 3, which is, next in line in terms of getting its attention. And those books write pretty quickly. And I'm usually able to bust them out pretty fast. But that still means that the next AUD book probably won't be out until end of summer or even fall. So I'll advise as soon as I know. And I'll let you know. So that's the AUD 14 news. And just to clarify, while I got everybody here, the Kindle version has a set in stone release date of April 28th, which is everything's in the pipeline for that, no problem. The print version usually releases on that day, the Kindle release day, or slightly before. I greenlight it to release into the chain of the production pipeline a few days before, so people can buy it, and then with Prime they can actually get it by release day. Have it mailed to them and have it in hand. So if you get like same day Prime or next day Prime, you could actually get it a day before, or maybe even 2 days before, depending upon when I hit the go button. And then Audible, DJ Dan has set up a whole new studio with all new microphones, all new editing equipment, all new soundproofing. And he's wrapping up a romance title right now. He does a ton of romance work. Like he it's constant. Like he does a lot of romance novels, and he's really excited to work on AUD because it's a pretty big departure from talking about people screwing all day long. And he's ready to go. So by the time he's done with the book he's doing now, which I think is this weekend, next weekend he starts recording, and it takes him about 2 weeks to record everything, get it cleaned up, send it to me, get my thumbs up on stuff, and then do all the pickups. And we missed things. A couple things got missed in book 12, I think it was, that I just didn't catch. So hopefully we can pay a little bit more attention to it this time and get it tidied up and get it released. But what? No zombie screwing? Not yet. Well, maybe actually. We need to get you a physical red button. I agree. Project Skunkworks. I do have stuff in the pipeline for Skunkworks stuff, but anyway, when I hit approve on the Audible version for a book, they basically tell you that it could take like 2 weeks before it goes from I approve it to when it enters the Audible ACX pipeline for release. And in my experience, it's never taken more than 3 or 4 days. So if he takes 2 weeks to record it and he starts next week, I could conceivably hit approval on about 4:15, 4:16, something like that. And then if it takes the full 2 weeks, it's still going to release on or about the 28th in audio. If I hit approve around the 16th and it only takes a few days, then audio will actually be the first version available to the public. I don't control it. I have no ability to influence it, really. I have people who work inside the company that I can kind of lean on a little bit and just be like, hey, could you head down to QC and just kind of like rap on someone's cubicle and let them know that would be really cool if they did that next. But they can't always appease that. So yeah, that's all the AUD 14 news. So end of April, all formats. Exciting book, very exciting. Can't you write faster? D, I wish I could write faster. I really do. Two little kids at home, and I have ADHD, something fierce. And there are days when the brain just can't lock on. And I've learned to not fight it. When I try to fight that like inability to focus, I wind up writing really shitty stuff. So what happens is I just like I have several projects all cooking, like they're all at various levels of development or whatever. And when one of them can't happen, I just move to the one that my brain is excited to work about. And that way I'm still making progress on something. Anthony, will there be another Colony Lost in the near future? There will definitely be more Colony Lost. I cannot tell you what the timeline is. Future, not so much near future. 1/3 of the next book is written and was released as a Kindle novella, and I have the second 2/3 of it outlined and ready to write. The question is finding the time. This Kickstarter project is going to eat up all of my spare time for the next probably 60 days, possibly more. And then there'll be a window when I'm just like waiting for production to finish up. And then when all of the product to fulfill the Kickstarter shows up, it'll eat up all of my time for probably 2 weeks again. So the time that I have between now and then, I really need to focus on writing Diggory 3 and getting AUD 15 going. And then once those 2 books are out, I'll have a little bit more leeway. And I would really like to get another book out in that series. The first book is really, really good and fun, and it's such a neat world and universe. And where I want to take that setting and story and those characters is really exciting for me. But the reality of it is book 1 didn't sell that great. I didn't promote it right. It had like a really weird release problem. My marketing team inside Audible switched hands. They literally like moved me to a new department, and everything that we had set up for marketing on it didn't happen. So the book just kind of like went out with 0 support, which was pretty devastating. But shit happens. And if I write a second book and people really like it, then hopefully it'll draw more attention to the first. But that's not why we're here to talk today. We're here to talk today because I am revamping and relaunching the first 8 books of AUD in a all new format. So when books are released, there's like different ways that they can be consumed by the masses, right? So the primary way that books have been, consumed in the past is in paper form. There's 2 kinds of paper books, really 3, but 2 basically. There's paperbacks and then there's hardcovers. And from the start, when I got into publishing, when my initial book deal that I had fell through and I started to release stuff indie, paperback was like really the only option at the time. And I built my business model of like, this is how I write, this is how I market, this is how I sell stuff, only accounting for paperbacks, and never having done hardcovers. So the way, here I am like 28 novels down the line, the way my like monetary flow goes is enough comes in to pay for the Audible, pay for the Kindle, pay for the paperback, and then everything that's left over pays for marketing and pays for my mortgage. So coming back in time and re-releasing them in hardcover is like an enormous expense. And I'm not fluid enough to foot the bill for that. So I've been doing research on it for a long time. And here in the chat, and one of the chats tonight is Cover Villain, which is Jeremy Flagg. Hey, Otto. And I got with Jeremy, who does some fantastic cover work. He's done the 2 Diggory covers as well. And I said, hey, I want to do this. I want to think about it. Like, what are we looking at for timeline? What are we looking at for prices? What are we looking at for concept stuff? And, we worked out some prices, we worked out some timelines, and then we went back and forth on some cover ideas. We had, a couple of live chats, and he's a fantastic to work with. So if you're a writer and you're looking for a high quality artist that is easy to work with and responsive, he's like the cream of the crop for me right now. So he worked out a great brand new series of covers. And, we're doing 8 covers because it's 8 books, and he has the first 4 completed, and the second 4 are in process. He's probably got them all done. He's just sandbagging them, bastard. You don't know where I live. I moved. You haven't been to my house since I was in Marlow. So, what up? And to defray the cost of launching an entire new hardcover product line, I'm going to do Kickstarter. And basically, the reason why Kickstarter works is it essentially allows me to take pre-orders, and it not only allows people to say, "Hey, I want that. I'm going to give you my $30 now," and I can take that $30 and then pay for everything and then get the book and then send it to you. It also allows me to reward those people by supporting stuff early, and I can reward those people by putting your name in the front of the book, for example, as a backer. I can give you swag that's only going to be available through the Kickstarter. So stuff like stickers that'll only be available through the Kickstarter, bookmarks that'll only be available through the Kickstarter. All of the books will be signed by me only through the Kickstarter. And the other thing about the books that we're doing for the Kickstarter, and this was actually Jeremy's idea, is the version of the hardcovers that will be available on the Kickstarter will not have mass market retail barcodes on them. So if you're into comic books, there's the comic book cover that doesn't have the barcode, which has a little bit more of the picture, and that's exciting. And it's also a smaller print run because it goes into the shops that can handle scanning stuff without actually having a barcode. So these covers, these jackets on the hardcovers will not have barcodes in the Kickstarter. As soon as the Kickstarter fulfills and all those people get their books, the versions that will be available in retail will have a barcode and an MSRP on the back. So you'll be able to tell people, hey, I got it first. And the proof will be is you have a version that doesn't have a barcode. And it'll be signed by me, which is pretty sweet. So with the Kickstarter, you need a Kickstarter account. It's pretty easy. It's just like signing up for an account on any other website. The projects have a pretty significant amount of choices on what you can choose to back. And on this particular Kickstarter, I have a ton of options for people. You'll be able to pick from all different kinds of varieties of support level, from like $5 all the way up to $1,000. Most of the options are under 100, and then there's a couple in like the $200, $300 range, which are basically like buy a ton of books all at the same time. You get a big discount if you do. I'll go through all of those in a little bit, and I can actually show you. Anthony, does Kickstarter only work with physical product, or does it work with digital? It works with either. I was thinking maybe it would be easier, perhaps cheaper to release a digital version of your comic book. It would probably be cheaper to do digital because you don't have to worry about printing. So, that is an option. Most people, when they're doing a comic book on Kickstarter, they send you the digital version for buying the physical version. But comic book collectors are collectors, right? So they want to get a physical thing. Hey, Jill, will I sell my used stocks? Only the stiff ones. So, I haven't shown this to many people yet, but the first proof arrived today. And this is what we're talking about. So, this is book 1 in hardcover. Adrian's Undead Diary, Dark Recollections, all new cover work, right? And he embedded the writing inside the image, so you can see it's like nestled behind the bushes, and there's stuff in front of it and behind it. It's really, really cool. And this jacket is matte. It has a nice sort of like leathery, sort of velvety feel to it. And then the back, we got this little fella here off to the side. He's just saying hi. Hey, buddy. Hi. And then it's a hardcover with spine. And then when it opens, you got the jacket, and inside it gives you the synopsis, the plots right there. Yeah, it smells nice. It smells like fresh book. And then book 1. And then I got a little foreword in here that's new. No one's read that. But the thing I want to point out here is if you do back it, you'll be here. And right now, this version, the proof, has no backers. Okay. So after the fulfillment happens, you get what's called your backer survey, which is just an email you get from me that asks you questions that I need answers to. And you get a couple weeks to get the answers back to me. And one of those questions is, what name do you want here? So it can be your name. It could be someone else's name. You could just put Optimus Prime if that suits you, whatever you want. But this is where your name will appear right here. And I've got several pages slotted to the side. Also on the inside here, and this is what's really important. You'll see right here, it says author's preferred version. What that means is it's not exactly the same version that is in the Kindle right now, in the paperback, or in the Audible. I've gone back into here, and this has been like the last couple weeks. I've gone back into the original book files. I've tidied them up considerably. I've fixed, I think, all of the old typos that I either missed or left in on purpose to show like Adrian's idiosyncrasies. And I fixed up the grammar. I tightened some stuff up. I changed some of the like sentence structures. I removed the passive voice to make it just like read cleaner and more firm. And I added stuff. There are extra entries that were originally on the website back in 2010, 2011 that did not make the cut into the print Kindle and Audible version, and they're in here. They'll be in the hardcover version. And I think book 1 has 1 new entry in it. I think book 2 is going to have 1 new entry in it. And then starting with book 3, I think there's like 1 or 2 entries in each book that are like people haven't seen in 12 or 13 years. So that's why it's called the author preferred edition. It should read better, like if you're going back through it, when you get this version and you go through it, a lot of like the weird wordings and like word repetitions that, frankly, when I was a rookie writer, I thought I was kicking it, just fucking crushing it. And now I'm going back and reading it and being like, oh God, that's awful. Like I could fix that up so much. So I did. Also inside the book, you've got the Alpa map, the map of the school. And then you'll have the Auburn Lake vicinity map in here, which these maps used to be on the website in one form or another, and then they got tidied up to go in the paperback books, but you'll get both of those maps. And then just a trip down memory lane, you'll get these in here as well in color. So you'll get the 2 versions of the cover, the original paperback and ebook cover, which Alan McRaffin. And then this cover here was the cover that I commissioned Ian Lannis to do. And Ian Lannis has gone on to be a concept artist for like animes and like major like animated movies and video games. Like he does like stuff for like Shadowrun and like some of the really big, cyberpunk video games and stuff like that. So I was one of the last people who got a book cover for him before he went into that. So the problem with this cover wasn't really dynamic and didn't really say a whole lot. It was kind of cool, but was just kind of, okay. And this cover, as awesome as the art is, I can't mark it. There's blood on these zombies' hands, and Amazon considers that to be violent and graphic, which means I cannot buy advertising with this book cover. And for someone who needs to advertise their books, that's pretty crippling. So I've been able to advertise this series in like a couple of other creative ways, but not having a book 1 with art that I can market has really hurt me. So one of the big reasons why we're doing these is you'll notice no blood, no violence, no gore on the front. So I'll be able to market this way better. So, but for the collectors, you'll have book 1 and book 2 in here. And then you'll notice I got neat little images in here and, all different kinds of stuff. I also have new ornamental breaks, which you probably won't be able to see because they're pretty tiny. But in the paperback versions, and probably in the Kindle versions too, when there's like a skip in the scene in the side fiction, there's like a little Halligan symbol, but I shuffled it around, and now the Halligans are chapter headers, and then the little ornamental breaks are actually Otis. You got little Otises in the book now. Yeah, here we go. Little Otises. Just to let you know that there's a skip in the narrative. Renee, do we know what they're going to cost? Yeah, I'll get to that in a minute, Renee, if you can stick around. 4. Scott, is selling your books in brick and mortar stores a possibility? Yes, it's always been a possibility. But the issue with brick and mortar is they would much rather stock hardcover rather than the paperbacks. They're more expensive. It's a bigger profit margin for them. They're more sturdy. They look better. They have a higher perceived value. And most bookstores just don't want to stock the old school 6x9s that my paperbacks are in. These they will stock. And I have all new ISBN numbers, which is a big deal for bookstores. And this is a really big opportunity for me to hopefully get into more bookstores, and also a big opportunity for me to get into more libraries. Libraries have a much easier time ordering books like this. So that's exciting. It's like a really big maybe about all this. Laura, for real, no blood. Yep. Yeah, no blood. Weekly blog. I wrote that shit like 3 days a week, Vanessa. It was obsessive. I was bad. So, yep, in the back. Right now I have a lot of dead space in here. Like you can see, like these like last few pages are just like they're literally blank just to hold space, because I don't know exactly what the final page count will be, which will affect the price, Renee. So I can't give you an exact price yet, but I can put you in the ballpark, like plus or minus a couple bucks, just so you know what you're looking at. And again, I'll show you that in a little bit. So if you're on Patreon, at the back of this book, I have all my Patreon people thanks. So all of these names are here, are all people who are active subscribers on Patreon. There's 2 pages of them. And then behind that is the also buy. That's off center, but I fixed that. And then behind that is the about me. And I got a new QR code in the back that, you scan it and it just brings you to all my socials. So, this is like a big deal, right, for me. There's a few benchmark moments in a writer's life that are like big, and like you get that first book regardless of format, like that's huge, right? Like, oh my God, I did it. I wrote a book and here it is. And I've had that, and it was an amazing feeling. And, it took me many, many books before that feeling stopped being amazing. And now it's just like part of the process of writing. So when I get a proof book, it's just like, oh, cool, I got to check that. And it goes off to the side, right? When I opened this box today, it was so affirming, partially because it's just good looking. Like this book feels really nice and the art is great. Thank you, cover villain. But it's hardcover. Like this is real. Like I could hit you with it and it would hurt. And it's fantastic. So, like from a personal achievement standpoint, it's amazing. And it could potentially get me in more bookstores, and potentially it could get me in more libraries. Very exciting. The other big benchmark moments for writers is like, you sell the rights to your book to make a movie or a TV show. But anywho, so that's what we're trying to make. We're trying to make all 8 books. And right now I have, book 1's proof in hand, and I have the files ready to proof book 2. And I'm almost ready with book 3, and book 4 will probably be done the end of next week. And then once I get the first 4 books ready for proofing, I'll order all those proofs all at once, get those in, check them over, fix them up, make sure they're good to go. And then we'll do books 5 through 8 after that, all in line for the Kickstarter. Once I have all 8 proofs approved and good to go, then it's just a question of how many do I print. And that's where the Kickstarter comes in. You guys can jump on, order a book, and then I know how many to print. And all of the money that comes into the Kickstarter is going to defray the costs of launching this project. And that's about $7,000. So top to bottom, between all of the ISBN numbers I had to buy, paying Remy an appropriate wage for his work, for all of the work he's doing for the art for 8 books, formatting time, all that jazz, proofing. The proofs are expensive. Just proofing these two books. I have 2 of these, right? Just these 2 books alone was $50. And I've got to do that 8 times. So I'm looking at several $100s in just proofing fees. And again, that's not money that, is built into my, my sort of financial plan. Oop, my mouse died. Published best friend who sold the book rights to the guy who made Mr. Robot, and they never done anything with it. Yeah, but Selling the option sucks. Getting the option sold is easy, relatively speaking. I mean, I've had paperwork signed in Hollywood for years and not shit has happened. Like to the point where it's not even worth talking about anymore. Um, so anyway, in order for all this to happen, I need to come up with about $7,000 to pay for everything. One way or the other, this is happening. Okay, book one is already in process. I've already paid like pretty much everything I need to pay for that to happen. Now, with the Kickstarter, all of the money that comes in will basically recoup those costs for me. So I'm not like putting it on credit cards and then hoping it sells, to libraries and bookstores and to people on, Amazon and Barnes and Noble, and then hoping to make the money back that way. The Kickstarter is a chance for me to like try to get that money back quicker and get you people some cool shit. So thanks, Wanda. We need to raise 5 mil. Yeah, 5 million for the pilot episode for AUD, just so you guys know. So I'm going to do a screen share here and basically show you guys what the project will look like when it goes live. Now, no one can see this. Only because I'm sharing it with you, you'll be able to see it. This is my side, like the release side, the creator side. Hide the porn tabs. I don't have any porn tabs open. So just make sure I do this right. Present, share screen. We're going to show Kickstarter. So I'm a little talking head here over in the corner. This is what it looks like. I'm not going to be looking at the comments screen here for a second. I'm going to be looking at the Kickstarter page. So if you guys are commenting, just give me a minute to just kind of talk for a second, then I'll come back to you. So it says up at the top, complete hardcover collection. Just give you an idea of what's going on. All 8 books alongside gaming dice and related merch. And then right below that, it says $0 pledged of $7,000 goal. What that means is that $7,000 goal is if I don't get $7,000 worth of backers, I don't get any money at all. So in order for this to trigger, I need to get $7,000 worth of backers. The 2 Diggory Kickstarters, my project goals were both $1,600 because that like basically was like enough to cover 1 whole book's worth of production. But I'm going for 8 books here, so the cost is much higher. Both Diggory projects funded to $7,000. One was like $6,600, one was like $6,900 or something like that. So I think I can get to $7,000 on this. I think we'll get there. And if you scroll down, it says it's fiction and Hollis. And it says Kickstarter connects creators with backers, and then rewards aren't guaranteed because you could back a project and they don't have to do anything. They could just take your money and run. I am not going to take your money and run because that's not how I stay in business. You can see I've created 2 more Kickstarters. This will be my 3rd. I've backed 30 over the years, mostly comic books and gaming stuff. And then here we are. Welcome to the first Adrian's Undead Diary Kickstarter. The project down here, ignore this right-hand side column where it says these pledge rewards, the support column here. Just ignore that for right this second. Just look at the middle. This is the narrative. This tells you and tells all of the people who might come to this Kickstarter what it's all about. And I just kind of give you a little synopsis of what AUD, the story is and, what's going on with that. And then I introduce myself. And if you're here, I don't need to introduce myself again, but, just showing you what, hopefully new people will see. I talk some shit about how awesome I am. Talk about why I'm using Kickstarter. Scroll on down for some more stuff. Story behind things. And then, all right, cover reveal. Everybody pay attention. Here we are. There's book 1. You already saw that. It's literally this book right here. Ta-da! Right? So you're going to see book 2 now. There's the cover for book 2. Same feel, same kind of layout, same cohesive design. And yes, I know it doesn't match the old ones. And yes, I know AUD doesn't happen in the city. But these books and these book covers are designed for like mass market appeal. And a lot of the people who read Zombie literature, these are the kinds of book covers that they just eat up. And, if this is what people want to look at, that's going to get them to pick up the book and read the back, then I'm going to put that on there. There's book 3, Midnight. It's hard to see when this small, but right on top of the A and the R, there's a car in the back there, and there's a really creepy as balls zombie right in the back there, which actually matches the creepy zombie on Midnight, the original version of Midnight. And then here's book 4 down here. More of the same, The Failed Coward. And then, as I said before, artwork for books 5 to 8 is in process. So there are the 4 covers of the first 4 that we have right now. And as I said before, Cover Villain Jeremy is working on 5 through 8, but it's not critical right now. Once we do have 5 to 8, and we'll have that, I'm sure, before the Kickstarter finishes. It's a 30-day project. They'll get posted, and you'll see them, so you know what you're going to get. And then down here, I say, why support me? And I just basically explain what I'm talking to you already, and I talk more shit about myself. Top 20 author on Amazon. Not currently, but I have been many times in the past. And then there's another book cover that Ian Lannis did for me. That's the cover of At Least He's Not on Fire, with the zombie stuck in the swing. And, some nice review numbers. And then talk a little shit about Otis, because he gives 0 fucks about the undead. And then what do you get? It's really hard to give you a synopsis in the body, what you can buy. So basically what I say is go over and look at the support column and pick one of these boxes that you like. And I'll show you all those in a second. And then just the book covers again, arranged in a different way to give you some presentation. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 5 through 8 again are in process. And one of the things that's going along with this is dice. And this bottom section, in order to show you the dice, I have some pictures. So there's going to be D6s, 6-sided dice, just like you would get in Yahtzee. And because the number 3 and the number 9 are incredibly relevant to the story, the dice will be created in sets of 3, and then you can buy 3, 6, or 9. And there are 3 different kinds of dice in the Kickstarter. So there are Trinity style, Lacuna style, and Locky style dice. So if you decide to pick up any of these dice, I'm making them all. They'll all be made right here in my little dungeon here, using all of my resin crafting equipment and molds and stuff. Pardon my belch. So I am going to make every single one of the dice. My hands right here, these guys. I'm going to mold them. I'm going to trim them. I'm going to clean them. I'm going to polish them. I'm going to number them. I'm going to do all that jazz. And it's cool. The only place you're going to be able to get them is me. And Trinity style, I do not have the Trinity styles ready. And the reason why I don't, let me stop sharing my screen. Stop screen. The reason why I don't is because I've been trying to source Halligans, little tiny Halligans to put in dice. And the original person that I had making the Halligans for me, they had a technical issue with their printer, and I wanted to do it local so I could literally go get them. And he fell through. And my other buddy, Aaron, Aaron's wife is actually in the chat, Jill. Aaron was able to print them out, no problem at all. And the first round of them are a little small. So these are my prototype of the Trinity dice. And you can see, barely see them. There's tiny, tiny, tiny little Halligans in there. And he's printing them about, 75% bigger. And there's little swirls of white for the white room. And the numbering in here will be colored in. These are just raw. I literally pulled these out of a mold like 2 hours ago. But those are the prototypes for what the Trinity dice will look like. And when you get your dice, they'll come in a Tier 1 Games dice bag. This is my dice logo. So when you buy dice from me regularly, this is the numbers that show up on the dice. And then there are, let's go back to sharing my screen here for a second. Back over to the Kickstarter here. Wabam. Trinity style, again, doesn't have a picture. Lacuna style looks like that. So they're what's called a Petri style dice, which is a special way of getting the ink to flow into the dice. And I'm using a black and white with graphite inking process. So actually, I got the dice from that picture right here in my hand, and you can see, I can get that to register. There, you can see the 1 on these D6s is the Jinx Fairy. So when you roll a Jinx Fairy, that's a 1. And then on the other side of the dice is Otis. Otis is the 6. And then all of the other sides are just numbered normally. And these are the Lacuna style. And my webcam is not going to give you a decent picture, but you can kind of see how there's like ribbons of sort of like white and black through. And I'll post more pictures of it. But these are like really, really neat in person. Very, very cool. Back to the thing here. Pardon my awkward clicking. And then Lockie style. Now Lockie's, a fiery bitch who, literally a torchbearer. And those are her dice. They look like fire. And these are considerably more complicated to make, but they're so cool and so pretty. And they just look gorgeous. So I'm going to go and show you these guys. So again, you can see they have like iridescent mylar in them to shimmer. And then they are laced with, you can see how they catch the light there. It's really neat. They're also laced with silver pigment, just like mists of it going through. And those will not register on the webcam, but it basically looks like there's like little tiny rivers of silver going through them. And, they're cool. Really nice. You'll notice that these are big, like they're physically large dice. They're way bigger than a regular 6-sided die. So the dice are special. If you're a gamer, obviously they're awesome. And it's just kind of cool to have dice that are made by, somebody that, made them custom basically for you. And I'm only going to make these designs for the Kickstarter. After this Kickstarter funds, I'm not going to make any more like these. Whoever backs it gets it. That's it. After that, if you want to get different kinds of AUD dice, different colors, different designs, whatever, that'll be okay. But I will never make them exactly like this again. Again, to make them collectible, make them special, and to give you a reward for backing this thing. So at different levels, you'll be able to buy sets of three at a time, no matter what, in any amount of the different designs. So if you want to buy 3 of each, that's fine. You want to buy 3 of one kind, that's fine. You want to buy 9 of one kind, that's fine. You can mix and match it however you want. And then as the backers come in and give me an idea of how many people want, then I'll just make that quantity. And I got the first batch of the Lockie dice came out of the mold today. These are the molds right here. Make them out of silicone myself. So these are the first batch of production dice for the Kickstarter. I did those today. And actually, let's have a moment with that. So this is a small mold. This is called a slab mold. This is unopened. You can see it's still got the resin on it. And I mix it all and crack it like this. Like this, you can see. So you guys are getting to see this live. The first thing you look at, you can see the surface. You got all the black. That's where the Petri pour kind of action goes. And you can see there's no marking or pitting on the surface. I got nice clean tops. That's cool. And this is called flash, this stuff here. Amanda, while I'm picking this off, will there be other kinds of dice other than D6s? In the Kickstarter right now, I'm only offering these AUD D6s because these are specific masters that I had made. If you want to order any other kind of gaming dice from me, just message me. I do commissions pretty constantly on the side when I have time. The other kinds of dice that I can make don't have the Jinx Fairy on them because that requires me to have a custom master made that I can then make molds from. And those are really expensive. The masters to make these AUD dice were, just the masters alone were $300. So I then have to, buy the silicone and then mold them and then do all the, the processing, mixing, and the chemicals and stuff. So here we are, right? This is where we're at. And then we crack it. And what I'm doing here is I'm just making sure that none of the silicone sticks inside the the holes in the dice, which can tear the mold, and we don't want that. Whoops, pardon my fart. And then we just push it out. Whoop, whoop. So you can see this one was pretty flat. Whoop. The ribbons didn't push through, which is interesting. So that makes this die unique, right? But you can, there's like, oh, that's cool. It's like little oceany bits in the bottom. You'll never see it on this camera, but that's cool. But part of the cool thing is when I put them in, like, oh, see, this one has like cordyceps like lines going up through it. If you can see. No, probably not. This was a terrible idea. So a little bit more. Again, these ones sat kind of low. I can't control necessarily what they do when I put them in. Oh, that one's, you can see like see it crawling up the side there. You can see like right over there. I can't control what the resin or the inks do in process. So, you know, I kind of know what's going to happen, but you know, I don't really know. So every die is different. You know, these aren't getting made in a factory. So these are Lacuna dice that I made today, tomorrow, or maybe even tonight. I'll cast some more of the different kinds. It's a different kind of slab mold. It's a rectangle, and this one does 6, so I can do about 10 at a time. Are you planning to do a D20 with the Jinx Fairy Otis at some point? That's a possibility down the line. Again, it would require me buying a master for it, but a master of a single D20 is probably only going to cost me like 30 or 40 bucks, which isn't that bad. Obviously 300 is a different story because you know, I got to sell a lot of dice just to make that 300 bucks back, but it's worth it. And, you know, for people who are, you know, gamers or just like dice or just want cool collectible stuff, this is cool. So, and again, I'm a collector myself. So these, I don't know if you can tell, are considerably higher. You can see the ink climbed almost all the way through. It looks like little mountains inside it, right? So these are different. Even though they were all made exactly the same way, all at the same time, every die is unique. So if you're, oh, this one's got like white in it. You can see, it looks like snow on ash. It's really cool. If you're interested in the dice, they're going to be unique and rare. They're going to be special. I'm really stoked for these. And again, they're all going to be different. Every batch I make comes out a little bit different. Every mold is a little bit different. And, you know, this is just kind of a creepy design for the Lacuna. It's like blackness invading the, you know, the sky. So that's the dice part. I don't want to get stuck on that. I'll talk dice all day. I'm a gamer. Okay, let's go back to look at make it a stretch goal. I could, actually, that's a good idea. I do need another stretch goal. That might be fun. So we're back to sharing the screen. The roll more max values and all the other dice. It is kind of weird. I do not make the dice to roll heavy, but a lot of people report that the dice I make roll well. It's not intentional, but I'm happy to hear it. Okay, so we're back on the page here. At the bottom, I got, you know, who's on the team down here, which is me, Remy, and, you know, Alan's pitched in as well. It's just the three of us. Carla helped out on the Kickstarter for the Diggory book. She's the editor for that series. She's not editing these, so she's not part of this team. And then I got a little pie chart because pie is fun. And it just basically breaks down, you know, the rough costs. So I'm sure you can read it, but I'll just read it out loud. The magenta colors artwork, it's about $3,000 going to Remy. The green part is formatting, hundreds of dollars just to get, you know, all of the you know, the labor, the software, ordering the physical proofs, all that jazz. The blue is shipping supplies, which, you know, for the Kickstarter is going to be, you know, sleeves for the boxes to go into, dice bags, extra dice bags, and specifically boxes to put all the books in as they ship. The proofing, again, you know, like $50 per book plus some. And then the yellow is swag. So stretch goals. On Kickstarter, you have your project goal, which in this case is $7,000. And then you got stretch goals. And stretch goals are what happens if we go above, you know, that number. And $7,000 is our number, which means we're fully funded. And then if we go past that, we're going to do some more cool stuff. If we get to 7,500 everybody's going to get the special bookmark. Oh, I don't have them. I'll grab some and show you. At $82.50, everyone's going to get the Mr. Journal vinyl stickers. I'll show those to you as well. At $9,000, I send 10 books to libraries. And then for every $1,000 we go beyond 9, I send another 2 books out. The first books are going to go to libraries around here because, it's my hometown area. And then, after that, we'll start sending them across the world. So 10,000, free STL download of the HRT, the Heavy Rescue Truck. So, Adrian winds up stealing the heavy ambulance from the fire station in book 2, end of book 2, beginning of book 3. And, it becomes a staple throughout the remainder of the core books of the series. And I found a 3D artist that will do it for me. And he's going to, render a 3D HRT and then put it into a 3D printable file. And if we get to 10,000, everyone's just going to get that for free. So if you have a 3D printer or someone who does have a 3D printer, you can get the file for free and then have them print it. Or you can go to a place like Shapeways, and I think it's shapeways.com, and they can just print it for you and send it to you. And then you can use it in a game, like a miniature, or put it on your shelf or whatever. But that'll be a really fun stretch goal. At $12,000, I'm going to make 16 by 20 high gloss posters of Dark Recollections new covers. It won't be part of existing pledges, but it will show up as something that you can add on, and they'll be $10. And I'll sign them as well. And then after the fact, the posters will be available for people to order through me or at conventions or book signers or whatever. I'll just bring, a stack of them so we have them. But if we get to $12,000, I'll do that. And then the current high value one is $15,000, and that's Adrian Ring Challenge coins. So for those of you who backed Diggory, I had these made. So in Diggory's story, there are these things called coins of the 12. And the coins of the 12 are made of a weird metal that, they don't really know what it's made out of initially. I mean, you find out pretty, I think by the end of book 1, you find out. But these coins are literally like, the coins you would give Charon to bring you down the river Styx. And instead of getting you to the afterlife, there are many monsters that you can present these coins to, and they'll take it as payment instead of killing you in the story. And I thought it would be really, really cool if, as part of the Kickstarter, you could actually physically get one of the coins of the 12. So I did that for Diggory. They were friggin' expensive. They cost a fortune. And I wound up selling them for, I think it was like $25 a coin on the Kickstarter. And I think I've sold most of them by now. It was about 300 coins. So I'm not going to do that initially with this. I'm going to do it as a stretch goal, basically to kind of like recoup the cost of the hardcover books before I lay out another, grand or two for these coins. But Remy is going to design a brand new AUD challenge coin. And they're going to show up as an add-on, and they'll be probably about $25. And they'll be just, like a military challenge coin or a police challenge coin. And I don't know if you can hear this, but these are metal. These are like a legit coin. So really, really cool. So that'll be the $15,000 one. And then Amanda had the idea of me maybe putting on like D20 AUD dice as a possible stretch goal. And that is an option. So we're back to screen sharing again, everybody. And that's the bottom of it right there. Aiming to get everything to everybody in October. Maybe before that. I can't actually tell you exactly when. By the time the Kickstarter is done running, everything should be orderable. And like orderable on my end. The only thing I can't control is how long it's going to take the manufacturer to print them, and then how long it'll take for transit to get them to me. And the mixed blessing, the growing pains curse is that the more people buy, the longer it'll take to get here because it'll require a larger shipment, right? So I don't know. The place that I'm ordering the books from is opening up a U.S. distribution facility. Right now, they're in the U.K., and it's no big deal to get them from the U.K. But as soon as they open the new facility, which Remy said was in April, like that'll be huge. That'll make everything so much easier. So more than likely, these books will not come from the UK. They'll probably come from America, made right here in America, and then shipped, from me to you. So back to the Kickstarter here. Up at the top, we were looking at back this project, and then on the right-hand side, it says support. Right over here, support. And this whole column on the right-hand side of the screen basically just tells you the boxes, the boxes that you can pledge at. And, just like the public TV, fundraisers, you can basically pick, how much money you want to send this way. And literally everything helps. So, if all you want to send is $5 and that's all you can afford, I appreciate it. If you want to go more than that, I'm trying to give you options at whatever level fits your budget. $5, you get some ebooks and a thank you. You get your name in the front of Dark Recollections. Dark Recollections only, just book one. At $10, you get the merch swag pack. And, in an envelope, you'll get the Mr. Journal sticker and a little, autograph card from me. A name of your choice will appear in the thank you as well. And you'll get the bookmark sticker and a thank you. What's special to note about this $10 level is it ships to anywhere in the world. I can drop an envelope with that stuff in the mail, literally to anywhere in the world for a couple bucks. It might take weeks to get to you. But shipping a book from here to the UK, for example, costs like $40, just the shipping alone. So I don't want to ship a ton of stuff myself overseas. I'd rather have you buy the book through, local means, and then I'll send you an autograph sticker. But if you want to back the project to help me get to that $7,000 goal and you live in, Timbuktu or whatever, the $10 level is awesome because it sends a little bit of money my way and you still get some cool signed stuff. Down below that, you got $20. At $20, you get 3 of the dice. So there's a level for $20 at the Trinity, $20 for the Lacuna, and then $20 for the Locky. So that gets you 3 of the dice. $20 for 3 of the dice. I know that sounds kind of crazy, like if you're not like into like dice collecting and stuff like that, but handmade dice on the market are crazy expensive. So like $20 is actually really cheap, relatively speaking. But yeah, you get 3 of these. Handmade by me for you, only available on the Kickstarter. So if all you want to get is dice, if all you want is the 3 dice, then you pick whatever 3 you want. $20, yours. At $33, you get a signed hardcover of Dark Recollections. That price may go up $1 or $2, or it may come down $1 or $2. Because I don't know exactly how many pages it'll wind up, and I don't have an exact number for shipping, there's a little bit of play in there, but it's going to be around $30. It might be $1 or $2 more, might be $1 or $2 less. Subtitles, thanks. So I imagine most people will probably jump in at that $33 level to get just the book one, which is awesome. Those books will come from the printer to me. I will sign them. They will go to you. And again, your name will be thanked in the front as a Kickstarter backer. At $45, you get a signed book one and 3 AUD dice of your choice. This will probably be the second most popular because most people don't have a ton of money to spend on these things. So if you want to get book one and 3 of the Lacuna dice, bam, done. $45. At $55, you get all 9 dice. Just the dice, but you get all 9. 3 Lacuna, 3 Trinity, 3 Locky. At $80, you get an hour-long online video chat with me. You also get thanked in the book. On the last Diggory Kickstarter, I think I had 4 of these or 3 of these. where people just paid the $80 to spend an hour with me online. And it was really fun. Like, it was cool because I got to hang out with some people who, a couple of them I had talked to before in one way or another. And then, there was one guy who I'd never interacted with before, and had a great, hour-long chat with them. And they got to ask some questions that, had been burning at them, and, personal questions and stuff like that, book questions, whatever. And it was a lot of fun. So if you want to bend my ear for an hour, $80, and you get to thank you. At $109, you get books 1 through 4 in hardcover. So, that's half the set, signed and in the special no barcode format. So again, half of the hardcovers, just the hardcovers, no dice, no extra stuff, $109. And again, because I don't have the prices set in stone, it may go up or down a few dollars. It's not going to vary a whole lot from this. So around $110 or so. And then at $133, you get to custom design 9 of the handmade AUD dice. And what that means is you and I will exchange emails back and forth, and you'll say, hey, I want to get 9 of the dice, and I kind of want them to be this color, and I want this kinds of sparkles, or I want this kinds of mixes, and can you do XYZ? Can you put this in, or whatever? And I'll make them. I'll make 9 of them just for you. Nobody else will get them, ever. So that's pretty cool. The dice that people got for Diggory, I think I sold 5 custom sets or 6 custom sets through Diggory, and they were awesome. Like, they were friggin' cool. Yes, the dice bag comes by default with all the dice, and that's this this tier 1 dice bag. These are my dice bags, so you get one of these, and that's $133. And that also gets you a thank you in the book. At $175, you're paying for a online role-playing game with me. Total of 5 players, so only 5 of these are available. You can see down at the bottom it says limited, 5 of 5 left. That's because nobody's bought one yet. Nobody's bought anything yet because the Kickstarter's not live. So you will play through like Zoom or Discord or whatever, an online AUD-based role-playing game with me running the game. For that $175, you also get a signed hardcover, and you also get 3 custom AUD dice that are made just for the people playing in that game. So just the players who play in that game will get that specific kind of dice. And the game will probably be 4 or 5 hours long, and we'll work out a time that works for everybody who gets it. That'll be really fun if you're into role-playing games. Sorry if I'm not answering questions. I like have to tab between and I'm not seeing it, but I'll come back and I'll look at the questions in a little bit. At $199, so about $200, you get all 8 hardcovers. That's the whole kit and caboodle, the whole set. You also get the bookmark and the journal sticker, and you get the thank you in book 1. This will probably be the 3rd most popular level. Because you just get everything, right? You get all the hardcovers, which is all the new, like brand spanking new, really cool stuff. And then at $250, you get hardcovers and all 9 dice. So all 8 of the hardcovers, and then 3 each of Lacuna, Trinity, and Locky dice, which is like all of the really, really special stuff from the Kickstarter. That's a $250. And then at other $250, there's a 3-hour online writing consultation. So I've offered this a bunch of times, and it sold once, I think on the second one. And if you're looking to get into the business and you want to pick my brain, or you want to talk about writing or how to come up with a storyline, or literally anything writing related, at $250, you get me for 3 hours. And I will tell you anything you need to know. I'll walk you through any portion of the business that I can help you with. I can give you any information that will help you with any project you got. You want me to look at a manuscript? I'll look at a manuscript. You want me to tell you how to market something, how to build a Facebook ad, how to build an Amazon ad, whatever you need, I'll help you out with. Because it's like a more professional thing. It has to be very technical and whatnot. It costs more, but it can be really helpful. Another 250 level is everything Adrian's in paperback to date. So if you don't really care about the hardcovers, but you do want to have physical copies, this level gets you all 14 core AUD books, plus all 7 Tales books, signed from me to you, plus a bookmark and a sticker. Not hardcovers, just the paperbacks, but it is a complete collection of everything. So that's that choice. And then at $333, the Ultra Mucka hardcover paperback set. And that gets you all 8 hardcovers, the stickers, the bookmarks, and it gets you the 7 Tales paperbacks. So that's like the complete printed availability of the AUD universe, but with the upgraded author's preferred hardcover core 8 set. And then at $375, well, I think I got to edit that because it says just the core 8. Now I'll take a look at it. And at $375, you get all 8 hardcovers plus custom dice. So instead of getting 3 Lacuna, 3 Trinity, 3 Locky, you get to just tell me what you want your 9 dice to look like, and you get all the hardcovers and the bookmark and the sticker. And then at $1,003, 3 because 3 is important, you get a custom story just like in the Diggory one, just like Chris's tactical septic tank one. What's different about this is I only offered 1 on the Diggory Kickstarter, and Chris bought it like literally within 20 seconds of the Kickstarter going live. And then I had like 2 or 3 people be like, dude, I was going to buy that, but it was gone. So in this one, I'm offering 3. You can see down here, limited 3 of 3. And what'll happen is however many people buy it will each get their own story, and then those stories will be collected into a custom like collection, 1 book. And then each of the people who bought the story will get 5 printed copies for themselves, plus a printed proof copy, just to see the process. And then they'll get PDF and EPUB files, so they have the electronic versions. And then they go to those people, and it will appear nowhere else unless you give me permission to use it or ask me to use it somewhere, like Chris did. And then along with that custom story, you get a complete set of the hardcovers, those 5 books that I mentioned, and the thank you and whatever. Yes, it's a lot of money, but you're essentially paying me to write you a story for 2 weeks. So you're covering my labor for 2 weeks, and paying for the proofs and for the covers and for the whatever. So $1,000 sounds like a lot, but when you break down the costs of it, it's really not. So when you go to back this, and you choose to do this, you pick the level that you want. So you just scroll down here, and you can't click on it right now because it's not active, but you would say, oh, okay, I want the books 1 to 4. I want to buy that. You would then click on the 1 to 4, and then it will bring you to the add-ons page. And the add-ons, I don't think it'll show me here. Nope, but I can go to exit preview here. Now you're seeing really behind the curtain. So here's the button. I'm ready to launch. If I push this button right here, the Kickstarter goes live immediately. But we're not going to do that right now. So this is where I can fix things. So if I get onto rewards, it'll bring me to the rewards page, which is where I built all those little boxes that appear on the side of it. And then we got add-ons right here. And then off to the side, you see pledge amount, and then the details, just a little description, and then what you get. So you can add on all of these little projects or products to whatever pledge level you want, which basically means you can pledge to get something specific and then add on extra stuff to like kind of sculpt what you want your pledge to look like. So for $3, you get another bookmark. For $5, you get another sticker. For $20, you get 3 Lacuna dice. For $20, you get 3 Locky dice, and so on. So you notice some of these are limited. So there's only going to be 33 optional of these dice sets to make, because they do take time to make, and I don't want to have like 900 sets of these to make. At $55, you can add on a set of all 9. So you could conceivably go in and buy let's say the hardcovers for book 1 to 4 for $109, and then come here to the add-on page and be like, oh, I want the dice too. $55. So you get 4 books and 9 dice for, whatever that comes out to be, 164. $75 as an add-on. You can add the hour chat. So instead of the 80 pledge dollar, you can just tack on 75 to also get the hour chat with me, just to give people an incentive to have that kind of experience. For $75, you can add on all 7 of the Tales paperbacks. So if you want, let's say book 1 of the hardcovers signed, but you also want all the Tales books, you can tack that on. At $125, you can add on a set of custom 9 AUD dice, and you'll note that there's only 3 of those available. They're not that many. I want them to be special, and I also want to limit the likelihood that people are going to ask for like the same kinds of dice, and then I'm like making 2 sets of more or less identical dice for different people. So there's only 3. But those are the current add-ons that you'll be able to tack on to any of those pledge levels that we saw over here, all of these little columns. So as you can see, it starts out at $5, caps out at $1,000, and then there's a bunch in the $20 to $50 range, and then it kind of jumps up to 75 or 80, and then we got 1 or 2 around 100, and then there's a whole bunch at like the $250, $300 level. But those are like complete collections kind of stuff. So AUD based game. So now I'm looking at comments, so let me catch up. So you kick everyone's ass in an RPG. It's not competitive like that. It's collaborative. It's like storytelling. Wish I could afford that. I know it's a big ask. I know, I get that. But this is the chance, if you've loved the series and you want the hardcovers and you really want to do it, this is going to save people a lot of money. I think getting it through me. The retail on these books is going to be between like $22 and $28 a book, depending upon the page count, like when it gets to stores. So, if it's 25 each and you're buying all 8, it's going to be like $200 for the whole set. So you get it through the Kickstarter. It's about $200 for a whole set, which is basically retail, but you're also getting them all signed by me. You're getting the bookmarks, you're getting the vinyl stickers of Mr. Journal, and you're getting the barcode free version. So like you're getting a special version, you're getting it from me, and you're getting the extra stuff. So, whatever, any help is amazing. What do the little numbers next to our names mean? I do not know what you're talking about. What little numbers? Maybe that's the order you're going to die in. Renee, I be signing all the books? Yes. If you buy it on the Kickstarter, I will handle it and I will sign it. The one thing that I'm not sure on is I usually personalize every book that I sign, meaning like I say, like, in your case, Renee, and then I say something to you in that book, and then I sign it and I make it, personal. If I sell a shitload of these, I may not be able to personalize all of them. It may just become too time consuming. I'm going to try because that's really fun. Sign over my paychecks to you. We need it, man. Like, 2 kids are friggin' expensive. Shocked there isn't a tier with all 8 signed. If you buy a book, Amanda, it's signed by default. Every book is signed. So you don't have to be shocked. Every tier is all signed. I think the Facebook badges are how active you are in the group. The badges get awarded for various reasons. Like if you interact with posts in the groups enough, they Facebook just like by default offers you, some badge or whatever. Renee, can we ask about the movie on TV? You can ask. Not on or. Are you asking? Are you asking if you can ask? Dun, dun, dun. Yeah. So if you've never used Kickstarter before and you want to sign up, it's really not that complicated. You just, like any other website you're buying something from, you just got to give them a billing method. And I think they just take credit card. Or like debit card or whatever. I don't think you can do like PayPal on it, but maybe. I'm not sure. We don't need no stinking badges. Years as followers. That's cool. And then you just click on the level you want, decide if you want any add-ons, and then you pledge. It doesn't bill you until the project finishes. So it's 30 days for a project. So on opening day, people rush in, they buy all the limited stuff, so they know they're going to get something. You don't actually get billed until the project ends at day 30. And I think they give you a couple of days to like make sure your payment methods are okay. And then they bill you. And then there's, sorting that stuff out. And then the money comes to me 14 days after the project ends, if it successfully funds. And then, that's when the money actually physically appears in my bank account, and then I can start using that money to pay for things. Remy, Cover Villain, has basically agreed to work like on credit right now because he's confident that the project will fund. I've paid him for book one. I think I still owe you some money for book one. And then, when that money comes in, we'll look at whatever I owe him for the remainder of the set, and then I just send him money. That's it, done. He's paid. And then, the next batch of money goes towards paying for the ordering all the proofs and all that jazz. And then I order all the boxes, and then I order all the bumper stickers, and I order all the bookmarks and all that jazz. But I can't actually start doing that with the money from Kickstarter until 14 days after. Some of the stuff I've already just bought, with my spare marketing money. And that'll be that. And actually, I got to grab some of the, I have the bookmarks here I can show you. What percentage does Kickstarter keep? 5%. They keep 5%, which is very reasonable for the amount of service they offer. I have zero problem paying them 5% for everything. Thank you, Amanda. And I know you meet the goal. What does Kickstarter do if you have a project for some reason doesn't meet a goal? It fails to fund. The project is a dud. I think they give you the option of like making changes and launching it again. And if that happens, if it fails to fund, I'll probably relaunch it with a lower target goal. Whatever the funding reached, and then we'll just try and do it again. And if it funds at $4,000, then okay, I got $4,000 to help offset the costs of launching all these. I hope they don't get lost in the mail again, dude. That was awful. Lyndall got a custom signed set, and they made it most of the way from here in New Hampshire to him in Illinois, and they got lost. And then at some point I got a letter back from like the postal clerks in some distribution facility, and it was like a ripped piece of the box and a sorry letter that basically said like, oops, we lost your shit. And it was a custom illustrated set of the original, like limited books made for him specifically. And I had to go back. I had to order all 8 new books. I had to go back to Alan and get all 8 new illustrations. It was awful. I'm sorry about that. When will the Kickstarter open again? Good question, Josh. I don't have a set day specifically yet because I can literally push the button today if I want to. It will probably be right at the end of April, which is about the same time that book 14 releases. Once I have, I'm not sure really what else I'm waiting for other than to like build hype and make people aware. The book one proof was great. It's awesome. The quality is fantastic. The layout was fantastic. The art was fantastic. And then I'm reasonably confident that the other books will be fine, and there really aren't any kinks. The real thing that I just got to nail down is like shipping costs to make sure that I know how much it's going to cost me to physically get the books to me. So I'm not sure. But it'll be about the end of April, and I'll give everybody a nice clear heads up of at least 5 or 6 days. But it'll be end of April, beginning of May. Renee, are you going to do an auction on the hardcover you have now? I'm thinking about it. One of them, obviously, we'll keep. That'll be like my baby. But by the end of it, I'll have one spare proof copy of books 1 to 8. So they'll be like in existence. There'll be 2 sets. There'll be my set that goes on myself, and then there'll be a second set. And I think I might do an auction for charity for it. And then basically just be like, it's X dollars, and all the proceeds go to, the charity of my choice. So that's a maybe. I don't know yet. And I also said that if you showed up tonight, I was going to take care, Scott. Thanks for stopping in. I was going to give out some dice. So anybody who comments on this on YouTube or Kickstarter or YouTube or Facebook or whatever, if you just interact in here so I see your name and know that you're here, you're going to be entered to win some AUD dice. I'm going to set my headset down and go get some stuff here that's over here that I should have gotten earlier, but I'm tired. So I'll be right back, everybody. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm back. So the bookmarks that are for this Kickstarter are these guys. So the snip of cover 4, The Failed Coward. Hi, D, I see you. And then on the back, this is super fun. Halligans and banana boxes, y'all. So, and I'll sign all these. And these will only be available through the Kickstarter. So they're hardcore, they're heavy cardboard and laminate. And I have all these already. I've like 500 of them or whatever. So that's in-house. And then for participating in tonight's chat, I made some prototype AUD dice just to test the molds and test the casts and stuff. And I actually had my daughters help with some of these. Any plans to offer everything in print in hardback? Good question, Matt. Eventually. It's a process to convert the files over and pay to get the art. And luckily Remy at Cover Villain is incredibly easy to work with. So the next ones that'll appear in hardcover will probably be the Diggory books, because there's only 2. He already did the art, so he has those files ready, easy to go. And it'll be a super quick turnover, and it won't cost me that much money because I already have the art, and formatting it really won't be that big a deal. And I won't have to do a Kickstarter for that. I'll just be able to just release it. And Karen says, I'll tell you that the dice I make is top notch. Thanks. They are nice. I do make pretty nice stuff. So I don't know which ones you're going to get, but if you're commenting and I see your name, I have some really cool pink Petri style. You see all those ribbons that are reaching up into it, right? Pretty cool. These are really nice. My daughter Willow designed these. She made these. These came out cool. There's 2 of these, so somebody will get these too. And then my favorite color is orange, so I did 2 more the same way, but in orange. And these again are really cool. Really nice. It's silver lettering. And, because, all of these come out here, but, Otis is on the 6, Jinx Fairy is on the 1. All right. And then I've got a handful of these Lacuna testers. These were some of the different color testings that I did to see how I wanted the Lacuna dice to come out. So these have some variety, and I'm this one's really black with just a little bit of translucency through it. You can kind of see through it. And then I got some that are super translucent. They just have a tiny bit of black. And then I put red in some to see if I could get a bloody effect. And it just kind of wound up coming out. You can see the red on the inside. But if you're commenting, just let me know, so I can keep track. Because it doesn't tell me who watched, but it does tell me who commented. And then probably tomorrow morning, once all the comments come in, I'll look through and randomize everybody and then tell you. I did see the question, but I forgot. Recording the RPG session. In my perfect world, what I'd really like to do is do it through the AUD Discord server that Noel set up. So he set up a Chris Philbrook Discord server. So if you're on Discord, we can send you an invite for it. And we can set up a voice channel. So if you have Discord, you can just join and then join the voice channel. And then I can set it up so the players will have live voices, and then they can play with me in the game. And then anyone can view the channel as we play. And then I'm pretty sure through StreamYard here, the software that I'm using to run this podcast, I can just screen share and then save the screen share. And then I can post it at a later date so people can get in. The Discord is public. Nawel's getting a link to the Discord. Thank you, Nawel. The orange are awesome. Like, they're just really cool. They've got like a little bit of yellow, a little bit of white, and a little bit of orange in them. So you get like, kind of a sunset, sunrise vibe. And they're really cool. This was the original, like the third original idea that I had for the Trinity dice. And I made, a test pour of like these pearlescent silvery ones, just like regular gaming dice that I made to like see if I could get the colors right for Trinity dice. And I wound up not going with it because it just wasn't dynamic enough for the Kickstarter. But Nicholas James Carpenter wound up buying those 2 prototype sets out of my Tier 1 Games dice group. And he's got those now. So he owns the original prototypes, which is pretty cool. Dreamsicle dice. I had the Creamsicle D20 around here earlier. So Renee asked earlier about TV stuff. And I'm pretty elusive about it because I'm not really supposed to talk about it a whole lot. But paperwork has been in existence with a TV producer and a screenwriter since before COVID. I've got an attachment agreement with a guy who's a very reputable TV producer, and we almost had a TV deal locked up. Right as COVID dropped, and then COVID hit, and everything fell apart. And then during the majority of COVID, Hollywood wasn't really greenlighting anything except for like surefire hits or like really low budget stuff. And then we got really, really hot and heavy in August of last year. We had some really big pitch meetings. We had some pretty impressive conversations with like really big name TV and movie people. And then nothing happened, fell apart again. And as of right now, we're nowhere. We are essentially back to square one with nothing big planned, nothing happening, but the discussions have been had and it could still happen. It's really expensive, like these types of shows aren't cheap. They're not like, crime procedurals where you just need like, you can shoot in the street and all you got to do is rent some cars and then pay some, background actors, and you have a very small cast and it only costs you like $1 million to make an episode. When you're talking about, horror, science fiction, makeup is really expensive. And when you're talking about pyrotechnics or like squibs and special effects, it gets really expensive. And because of the way the AUD story plays out, shooting on setting, like out in the real world, could be really important because, Alpa is a character in the book. It's not just a location. So finding a real Alpa would be like a task and expensive to then like move the whole cast and crew out there. And the alternative to that is you build sets, right? Like they did for Alexandria for The Walking Dead. And even Alexandria was like a real housing development. They just like apocalypticized it to shoot there. So it's really expensive. Like we did a precursory budget, and getting the pilot made, just episode 1 of a show, was about $5 million. So we'll see. If I could pick anyone to play Adrian, who would the actor be? D. Chris is asking. I'm not supposed to say because some of those people have actually been approached with the role. And it's like a no-no to talk about that, apparently. I originally said years ago that Ryan Hurst was my number 1 for Adrian. He's the guy who wound up being in The Walking Dead playing Beta. He was Opie in Sons of Anarchy. He's got the body, he's got the physicality, he's done the gun stuff, so he could carry the role, and he's got the chops. There are several other people, though, that have since kind of come into the fold that I think could pull it off. So the producer is of the mind, and also the finance guy that we had looped in for a while was of the mind that it needed to be a name. It had to be like a notable actor. Because they have to carry the show, right? Like so much of the first like season would be him alone. And like very like in his head and very intense emotional stuff. And we would need to find somebody who had an enough pull to like get people to just watch them, you know. So we're going after some, A-list tier one, some names, and we didn't get anybody hooked, but I know some people looked at it, and we'll see. Nomad. I don't know how long the stream is going to last, but I want to say I love your books, Mr. Philbrook. I'm just Chris, but thank you, especially Adrian's. And I thought I heard of a game of some sort. Yes, the Kickstarter will have a role-playing game that you can join me to play. So I later on when this post, you can go back in and look through what that means. I don't want to repeat it all, but basically I'm going to run a role-playing game, an online one that you can join in and play a character in a game that I'm running set in the AUD universe. Yeah, Pedro Pascal isn't up to anything. I'm sure he's wicked free. Grumpy man protecting a child. Yep, got to get the Mandalorian. Need to get some kind of petition. If anybody listen to petitions, that'd be great. The biggest thing, and I've said this 1,000 times, the biggest thing, if you really want to see a TV show get made or a movie get made, the biggest thing you can do is review the books, build that body of evidence that it's liked and loved, because they look at that. Like when we were meeting with people, they were pulling up, charts and saying like, okay, book one has 670 reviews. That's pretty good. We really like to see over 1,000 to like really consider it. Like that shit matters. Like the people look at it and it's a measurable that's important to them. So like write reviews, like it really matters. So that's a big one. And tell friends, tell family, buy one as a gift. It counts as sales. It shows up on the sales charts. It puts the story in new people's hands. It might get a new person excited who's talking about it, and it just builds the chatter. So review and, spend money. It's all that ever matters, right? What are you playing for tabletop RPGs? Right now, the only thing I'm actively playing is 5th edition D&D. I have a Tuesday night online group with a couple of friends that I've been playing for about a year now. And I have a monthly in-person 5th edition game. That's the Rime of the Frost Maiden, the adventure path set in Icewind Dale for D&D. And we've been doing that since Rime of the Frost Maiden came out. And we only just hit, I think, 7th level. So slow campaign. Super fun, but slow. You're welcome, Nomad. Thank you for wishing me luck on a film adaptation. We'll see. I mean, obviously, it's the goal. Like at this point, like the books are out. I'm successful as a writer, and paying the bills, and it's good. I have it good. I'm happy with that. But TV stuff is like the next level, right? Like that's when you can like buy a nice car and worries about money stop going away, and I don't have to do shit like Kickstarter anymore. But the problem with that, the idea of like, oh, you sell the rights and they make a series and you get the big paycheck. In order to get that big paycheck, someone has to agree to spend big money to make your show, right? And we're talking about going to one of the streaming services, and if we're looking at, let's say, 10 episode seasons, right? You're only ever guaranteed the first season when you start out, right? Because they want to see how it does and then decide on more. If it's, let's say, 3 million, which is a very conservative number based on the producers I've talked to, 3 million an episode, 10 episodes is $30 million, right? So convincing people to invest $30 million in your idea is batshit crazy. And how you get that to happen is you attach talent, right? So, I have a TV producer that's attached, and he's reputable, and he's got multiple shows out, and he's won Emmys and all that jazz. And he's a guy, he gets shows made, but that only takes you so far, right? And most of these big financier guys, the studios that actually pay for these shows to get made, they want to see A-list talent, right? So until we get either like a major director to sign on as well, or like a home run hitter writer, like an established screenwriter to sign on, or God forbid, somebody to play any of the major characters to agree, somebody to play an Adrian, a Gilbert, an Abby. We'll see. Will you make an official AUD tabletop game? I doubt it. I just don't have the time. I would love to, but just as long as they don't mess with the script. I don't have a whole lot of control over it, honestly. The TV producer that I'm attached to is a fan. He's read the books. He's deeply invested in the story, and I know with him at the helm as the showrunner, he is going to do everything he can to keep it honest to what it was. Um, if it gets made. That being said, there are things that need to change for it to make the transition from page to screen. There just, there has to be changes. Certain scenes just don't work. Certain things can be collapsed. I don't have to have every single house Adrian loots show up in the show. We can just do a few and keep it to like 1 or 2 episodes, as opposed to having all first 10 episodes just be Adrian, like looting houses. So things can be trimmed, things can be clipped, characters can be collapsed into each other. Instead of having 7 people say one thing, well, instead of 7 people, make it 3, and then have those 3 people say stuff that other people said in the book. So it still gets said, but you're not worrying about having, to cast, 7, 8 parts. And that's just the reality of television and movies. But I trust this person, and I trust that they'll make good decisions. So yeah, he has read the book. Just make one of the execs read the books. Yes. Funny story. I'm not going to name drop because that would be inappropriate, but we had a pitch meeting with a major movie producer, like one of the most successful movie producers in Hollywood right now. And, we had a pitch session with them because he's looking to do some TV stuff, and he does a lot of horror work. And my guy was like, hey, here's the story, here's the plot line, we see this, we see that, we see this, 8 books in the series. And in the middle of the meeting, he's just like, grabs his phone and he's like, 8 books? Yeah, okay. All right, I bought them. And he literally bought all 8 books on his phone in the middle of the meeting, which is pretty sweet. And then like 2 days later, his production studio made an official rights inquiry to make sure that the rights were, available for him to make. Which was like, oh shit, here we are. And then he didn't buy it. So I don't know if he bought the books and didn't like them, or it just didn't work out, or whatever. You don't get answers. So, but that was really cool. No one is going to be universally happy with whatever they pick. Truth. Someone or another will hate the pick how it's made. Yep. I don't even care who it is. It's Doug Gilbert or Abby. That's true. I mean, if it happens, it'll happen. But today we're working on hardcovers. And the good news about the hardcovers as it relates to potential television or movies is it's a whole new product line for the series that people can find, buy, and then hopefully build the hype to get TV made. The more ways people can find it and consume it, the better, right? So, having the audio out is huge, having the paperback out is huge, having the Kindle out is huge, but now hardcovers are going to be like this whole new world that could be big. I mean, it could be big. I don't know because I haven't ever sold hardcovers, but, when I talk to people, hardcovers sell. And these are great covers. They're good looking. And the books have the review clout. When this gets added to Goodreads and people look at, these hardcovers up on Goodreads, they're going to see all the reviews for all the other formats and be like, wow, like this is a legit book. So because I have that established reviewer base and I have the, the history of the books and the good art, it could be really nice. YouTube doesn't let me post the Discord invite in here. I mean, post it wherever now, well, if you feel like it. I appreciate the effort. It's okay. Just do it in Facebook or in Ring Family or whatever. Go take care of the baby, Jill. Thank you for showing up. And tell your husband I said thank you for printing my Halligans. So, oh, yeah, I showed the little tiny Halligans. They do get lost in the dice. They just look like, they look like little bugs to me for some reason. But those are all like super duper tiny Halligans. They're really cute. But he's making them bigger, so I can remake those and get them situated for the Kickstarter. So again, just to recap, I'll stay on until 11 in case anybody has any other questions or they want me to go back and clarify anything on the Kickstarter. But it's going to go live at the end of next month, end of April. I'll give plenty of notice leading up to it, so people have advanced notice so they can kind of plan, what they feel like looking at, or if they have more questions or whatever. And then it's 30 days for the project, and then it ends, and it either funds at $7,000 or it doesn't, and I don't get anything. And you don't get charged until the end. So, you can plan that financially however you want. And all of the money is going towards revamping all these books, getting them, fixed up and edited and reformatted, and getting all the files made, and getting all the art made, getting all the proofs made to make sure they're legit. I should do a tier for an actual Halligan. I don't have a supplier for them, for one. Two, I don't want to deal with shipping them because they're heavy. And three, they're expensive. A decent Halligan is at least $300. All right, stay safe, Cliff. Let us know you're okay. Good luck with the weather. What's the Kickstarter goal, Nomad? It's $7,000 for the whole project to fund. And as I said before, the two Diggory Kickstarters both reached about $7,000. And it was like a relatively minuscule portion of my fan base to support Diggory. AUD is the juggernaut for my fan base. Like, I sell 8 AUD books, for every 2 or 3 of everything else, right? All of my other books combined. So AUD by far and away is my foundation. So if I can get $7,000 for Diggory, I think I can get $7,000 for AUD. So, it's a risk because I set the goal relatively high, but, I think we can get there. Thanks, D. I appreciate you stopping in. Appreciate it. I know it would be harder, but why not just PayPal you? Several reasons, Renee. That's a good question. I can always take PayPal, always. So if you don't want to back the Kickstarter and you just want to send me PayPal or Venmo, yeah, we can do that. No problem. The thing about Kickstarter that's nice is they handle all of the order information for me. So I get a report at the end. I can print out a spreadsheet that literally says everything I need to know about what someone bought. And then I just got to go line by line and just pick the orders, sign it, fill it, ship it. Done. So it's super organized. They handle all the billing for me. I don't have to worry about chasing people down, because I would say, a third to a quarter, somewhere in there, of people that say they're going to buy something, through Kickstarter or through PayPal or Venmo, they flake like a third. Kickstarter, you commit, right? You give them your card info, you say yes, and you can back out. But once it funds and you get billed, that's it, right? You bought it. So I don't have to worry about, shagging down spares that get lost. So Kickstarter is great for that. And the big thing is the Kickstarter platform is a way for new people to find my work, right? So, Kickstarter at any given time has 10,000 projects running. And the people who go to Kickstarter are really excited about supporting new artists and finding new creators. And just putting it on Kickstarter has gotten, the Diggory Kickstarter's probably brought me in 30 or 40 new fans that had never heard of anything I'd ever written before, and then saw the Kickstarter, thought it looked cool, backed it for $25, got the book, liked it, and then went on to read my other stuff. So putting it on Kickstarter is like advertising in itself. And, if a person buys one book, for $30 off Kickstarter, but then goes on to buy 10 or 12 other books of mine, that's a big deal. That's revenue, that pays my bills, that puts food on my kids' plates. So do I have a Patreon? Yes, I do. You just go to Patreon and type in Philbrook author, or just type in my name and it'll bring you to the Patreon. And Cover Villain's also saying that you can follow it, follow the Kickstarter, which you absolutely can. Let's see if I can get that page. I can post it, I think. Exit, promotion, project URL, view page, share page, copy. So I'll post it too he just posted it, but I'll post it again. But if you go to that link that I just posted, or the one that Cover Villain posted, it brings you to the preview page on Kickstarter, and it just says notify me on launch. So if you want to know exactly the moment I hit go and you can go and rush and back it, just click that and follow it. And you'll just get an email when it goes live. And again, I'll give you plenty of heads up so you can be there for the stuff that's limited. Do you have a drawing of the Jinx Fairy that you can make a graph of? Yep, I do. I can send it to you. The hardcovers are nice. They're just really, really nice. So, yeah, and you know, it's tough. Like, you know, one of the things about being a writer, right, that you know, a lot of people understand is it's scary to put your creative product out there, right? So, you know, you slave away with this idea, you think it's cool, you write all this stuff, you write all these scenes, you come up with the story, and then you take that big brave step and you put it out into the world and see what people say. And that's huge, right? And I remember that feeling, and I remember being scared shitless and concerned and worried that I was going to go anywhere, and am I wasting my time? And, you know, God, I hope people are nice, and what if nobody likes it? What if they do like it and all that? And I was lucky. I have enough talent that people liked it, and I've worked on it, and I've gotten better over the years. And I had the, you know, the unfortunate and fortunate, you know, convergence of being successful enough to think I could be a full-time writer. And then that second leap of, you know, I'm going to try and do this as my gig, right? Like, I'm going to quit my perfectly stable day job that I get a perfectly good paycheck from, and health insurance and all that jazz. And I'm just going to walk away from it and then try to sell enough books to survive. And I did it. I did it back in 2015. And I've been full-time as a writer ever since. And there was, you know, a period of about 8 months where I had to go back to a full-time job because finances were really tough. But that was a temporary thing. And I kept writing, you know, like I didn't stop writing. And then, you know, we figured out all that stuff, and now I'm back to writing full-time. And things are good. I you know, as long as I keep writing and things be consistent, I should be able to do this for the foreseeable future. But the issue is like projects like this Kickstarter, and like coming up with 8 new artworks and 8 new hardcover books, like, it's expensive as an indie. And because I've been so successful as an indie, most of the big publishers won't touch me anymore. Even if I went to them and said, hey, I'm done being an indie, I want to sell the rights, they're not interested. I've sold too many books. They think that I've sold out, right? Like, I'm done. Like, I've sold every one of the books that I'm going to sell. So like, I can't even get a book deal now. Like, I've sold too many books to get a book deal. So now I have to be an indie, right? Which means I have to do all the work. Like, I have to do all the marketing, I have to do all the advertising, I have to raise all the funds, I have to do, you know, lives like this to stay connected with people. And I love doing it, but, you know, it's time consuming, it's work. So, you know, these Kickstarters are helpful because they allow me to defray these costs and take these pre-orders, and not have to put all this shit on a credit card and then hope that people out in the wild do buy the book, right? Like, a very reasonable scenario is I eat $7,000, I put it on a credit card, right? And then I release all 8 of these hardcovers out into the wild, and then nobody buys them. And it takes me years to pay down that $7,000. And after interest, I pay 12, right? That could happen. Very possibly. But by doing the Kickstarter and taking all the pre-orders from all of the people ahead of time that I know want it, instead of having to, you know, get a loan or use a credit card, I just get the money ahead of time from people who are going to buy it, and then pay those bills ahead of time so I don't have to go into debt. So Kickstarter is huge for me. I'm not going to do it for everything in the future, obviously. Like, I didn't do it for the 14th AUD book because AUD is like my business model, you know, so I'm ready for that. I have that all planned out. But when I do these, you know, secondary, tertiary projects, it's huge.
Nomad, not sure if it's a technical issue or something, but you're not seeing any messages or links from the other person helping. Yeah, we were just saying that some of the stuff is not posting to YouTube for other people. I just posted a link. You might be able to see it. Nomad, if you're on YouTube, after this posts as a regular video to YouTube, I'll go in and add links and stuff. So, Renee, how many people are still around from the first days? When it was all said and done, when I finished writing on the website, I think the number was like 19,000 registered users, like individual reader accounts on the website, about 19,000, I think. And the vast majority of them were anonymous people, like they had a username, a unique username, but they didn't talk, they didn't interact, they didn't message me, they just read and left. The big thing was the subscribers, the people who paid $3.33 a month to get access to the whole website. So that's like all the maps, all the side fictions, and basically just to like kick me $1 or $2 a month to help offset the cost and like begin being a writer. And we had about at the end, I had like 1,500 paid subscribers, which was like a full-time wage, right? Like that was like full-time job money. 1,000 people at $3 is 3,000 a month. And of that 3,000, I would say probably 1,000 of them are still around, like regularly still around. Some of them come and go every once in a while. Like I'll see somebody, hey, I found you on this, that, and the other thing. And it's like, oh, I remember your screen name. And it's always nice to connect with those people because they're like the old school. Like they had to wait live. They stayed up until midnight to read those posts. Also, on another note, how would you as a writer yourself handle making and publishing books? Getting publishers. I talk about that a lot. At my point in my career, like I don't chase publishers anymore. I just do my thing. And I know I have enough people who support me that, any idea that I have will probably get enough support for it to be worth writing. Whether or not it'll be like hugely lucrative, who knows? But I know that I have enough people have my back that I can take some risks and try some stuff. And like, I'm so thankful for that. If you're starting out as a writer and you're not in my position, there's a lot of ways to do it. Like chasing a publisher is not the worst idea. Being in India is not the worst idea. It really comes down to what you want your job to be as a writer. Like if you're trying to be a full-time author and you're interested in doing the marketing and like all of the business side of creating books, then being an indie is awesome. If you want nothing to do with that and you just want to like write books and then send it off to a publisher, then you want a publishing deal. You want to chase a publisher. You are scared of releasing your first comic book. Anthony, totally understandable. The good news is there are going to be a lot of people who like it. Your book is fun and you're going to find the people who enjoy it. And that's your people. And if people don't enjoy it, those are not your people. They're not your people. Who gives a shit, right? They can fuck off. Read a comic book about angry porcupines or something. Amanda wasn't around for the OG Diary through Kindle Unlimited. Thank you for all the books. I appreciate it. I don't know if you would actually wish that you had discovered it earlier, because the people who were on the website had some serious stress. Laura, you are very welcome. My time is, I'm happy to share it with people who support me. Sean Ryan, Chris, you're a great author. Thank you. Things are going to be right. All right. Why do you think? It's a real life strife morals of the AAD world. It's true. Yeah. My mind and how I build the characters, dice or not. Thank you. And I appreciate the fact that you say you're going to pledge. It means a lot. You can see the link. Okay, good. Nomad. Hey, Keith. How's Australia? Any spiders eating you at the moment? Brandon, those were the days. There's an old school guy right there. Joshua, found the books later in college. Really liked the first couple, but I got hooked when it got to 3. That's funny. 3 is usually where I lose people because like that's when like the supernatural element of the series like really comes to the front. And it's funny because like, when I first started releasing the books, it was like, if I sold 10 book 1s, I would then sell like 8 or 9 book 2s. And then I would sell 8 or 9 book 3s. And then I would sell like 5 book 4s. Like I would lose people at book 3. The good news is my sales numbers from book 4 and on were like even, right? So if I sold 5 book 4s, I would sell 5 book 6s, 5 book 7s, 5 book 8s, and 5 book 9s. Because if you get to 4 and you like it, you're in for the long haul. Which as a writer is exactly what you want. Like you want people to buy book 1 and then follow the whole series through. So I get a lot of people until book 4, and then I lose them because I go with the supernatural aspect. But it's funny if you go back and you start reading it, the supernatural aspects, they're literally from page 1. It's built in, it's there. It's, when you go back and read it or listen to it the second time, it's like way more obvious, right? Because like some of those hints and some of the way stuff is worded, it's like it was intentional. It was from page 1. It was that way. Have a good night, Anthony. 3 and 4 are like the core of the series. 5 too. 3 to 5, I would say. Luis, you found me through Audible. A lot of people. I would say most of my people are now Audible. Thank you for liking the way I write. I have a pretty peculiar, unique style, I think. I don't know a lot of people who write exactly like me. Firehawks. What kind of bird picks up sticks that are on fire and then flies them to other places and drops them to start other fires? Only Australia. Man, I tell you, Jesus, that continent. All right. It's 11. I need to go to bed. My kids are going to wake up in the morning, as they do every morning, and I want to make sure that I am at least somewhat coherent. So I'm going to end the live here. It looks like we had about 30 people at the height live, and a lot of people come and go. We got 24 right now. So thank you if you've stuck around for any time at all. I appreciate it. And I hope it was informative. And I hope I explained, what's going on and why I'm trying to do it. Thank you, Travis. And just give people, a little bit of insight into what it's like to be me and to do the things that I do, and how you make my life stream happen. I have it good. And the only reason why I have it good is because, I took the leap, and people like all of you connected and have continued to have my back since then. So, all of you matter. I try and remember all of your names, and if you buy something from me, I remember, I'm that guy, and I hope that I can keep doing this for a long time, and projects like this are the stuff that allows me to lengthen that career, and hopefully get more books into more people's hands and share my story and let them see what Adrian's all about, and really get into the meat and potatoes of what AUD is really about. So if anybody has any questions, you can always reach me on any of the social medias, Facebook Messenger, Facebook author page, Twitter, Instagram, even TikTok. And if you're on YouTube, I see a lot of the YouTube icons going by, which is really exciting. I'm happy to see people, using that page. You can message me on YouTube. You can comment on a video, and I'll see it. Might take me a few days to pour through all the notifications, but I'll do my level best. People also message me on my website. They send me emails and stuff. If you're interested in supporting the Kickstarter, go to that little preview page link that we shared. Click it, and then click notify me on launch, so you know exactly when it goes live. And then just keep an eye out on my socials and stuff, and I'll post multiple times leading up to the day that I hit go. And I'll probably do another one of these live for the moment that I hit go. I've done that for the first 2, and it's always really fun to get everybody like all set up and ready to pledge, and then like live screen the backing process, because the two Diggory Kickstarters funded in like 20 minutes. Like I hit my funding goal literally minutes after I hit launch. So it's really fun to see, the ticker go up and watch all the people support in real time. So we'll probably do it again that way, because that was just really fun. We did those 2 as well during the day, like during the work day. And I think we'll probably be smarter about this one and do it like during the evening, maybe even on a weekend. So more people can be present at their computer or on their phone and not at work, so they can try and snipe the limited quantity levels, which always go quickly. So when, if you're able to go back through this video, and I'll post pictures of the, the different pledge levels, anything that's limited, anything that's like, 3 of 3 or 5 of 5, those go within the first 20 minutes. If the Diggory ones are any indication, like the custom sets of dice were gone in 5 minutes at 100 and something bucks, $120 a pop. Like literally all 5 sets gone in 5 minutes. So if you want any of those, like pay attention to when it's going to launch, because you got like maybe 10 minutes before somebody snatches them. So I'll give you guys plenty of notice and just let you know. And when it happens, I hope you like the dice if you get them. They're really fun to make, and like knowing that people have some kind of cool collectible that I help them get is really fun. Like that's really cool. If you put them on a shelf, awesome. If you play with them in a game, awesome. If you use them for Yahtzee, awesome. Like how cool would it be to say you got Yahtzee on 5 cats? You got the quintuple Otis or the quintuple Jinx Fairy. That it just appeals to me. So, and these, right? Like, look at this. This is awesome. This is awesome. This is so cool, right? Like, it's funny because, like, again, behind the wizard's curtain, right? In this genre of books, I am apparently one of the big names, right? So if you're getting into this, the zombie apocalypse writing genre or post-apocalyptic at all, like I'm one of the names that many people know about. And that's really cool. But other authors that are coming into the genre, many of them, when they interact with me, they're like for lack of a better word, they fanboy, right? They're like a little starstruck when they talk to me. And that's hilarious, right? Like I'm just some fat guy in a basement churning out books. But what that tells me though is that what I've worked so hard to do and make these books, and the amount of effort that I've put into it, and the creativity that I've tried to have, and the originality that I've tried to have, it has inspired people to try and have the career that I have. And doing stuff like this, I hope shows those people that, like, even when you reach the heights of what being a writer could be, and by any stretch of the imagination, I'm like a pretty in pretty rarefied air as far as a career goes. I'm still hustling. I'm still here at 11:07 at night on a Friday doing a live, telling people that I've got a Kickstarter that I'm jazzed about, holding my first hardcover book after 12 years of writing. And I'm like jazzed about it. I'm like a kid, So it all matters. It all matters. Every review matters. Every share matters. Every post matters. Every time you tell a friend, it matters. And I see it. I appreciate it. And I thank you so much. Thank you, Mary. Whom said what? Power perceived is power achieved. That's right. If I can trick people into thinking I'm a successful author, then therefore, my modesty is my best quality. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm too self-deprecating to have an ego. By default, I can't have an ego. It was picked on too much as a kid, I think. But the hustle is real. I love what I do. I appreciate all your support, and let's raise the money to do this. Let's put these books into new people's hands, and let's have like a really premier, prestigious version that the big time supporters can get on this Kickstarter, and it's special, and it's from me, and you won't be able to get it that way ever again. And when you go into the bookstore and you see this on the Barnes and Noble shelf, and you've got your Kickstarter version at home, you can be like, yeah, that's cool, but you know what I got? Bragging rights that very few people are going to have. If 200 people support this Kickstarter, I'd be surprised. The Diggory's got like 110, and then like 120 or 120 and 110 backers on each, which was amazing. Way more than I expected to get. But again, AUD is much bigger, so it could be a couple hundred. It could be 333. Wouldn't that be cool? We'll see. Sorry. The real first edition, right? So message me if you have any questions. I'm going to post this live so people can go through it. And I'll be around. So I'm going to hit go to bed. This little red button over here. And thanks, everybody. I appreciate it. Have a good night. Have a great weekend.